現在のMLB のルールは投手が不利だと言われています。そんな中で、こういう風にしたら解決できるんじゃないのという議論がされていましたので、今回はそちらの翻訳をご紹介いたします。それではご覧ください。
Here on MLB Now, we're into June. We're getting out of this small sample size theater and starting to get a little more meaningful glance into players and performance. Now, one thing to do to examine the game, I always do this, scan the leaderboards, find surprises. We used to do that with homers and RBIs. Now we can look at plate discipline, contact defense, nothing wonky, hardcore baseball stuff. Let's hit the leaderboards, find some surprises, and do a little digging in. Let's start with overall hitting. Weighted runs created plus, that's park-adjusted hitting. It's overall hitting. Number 6 in all of baseball, this guy, Jurickson Profar, San Diego Padres. Profar has always been an MLB Now favorite. Good plate discipline, contact, good fielder. He's no longer that nice little player, though. He's hitting like a star. This is a guy who 11 years ago was the #1 prospect in baseball. He's now 31 years old, has a spectacular slash line, .330 batting average, .426 on base. He's slugging .495. Profar was a free agent. The market dried up on him, so went back to San Diego, who knew him, signed a 1-year deal, $1 million. Top 10 hitter, he has not cooled off. This is another player who a lot of people wrote off, Jonathan India of the Reds, Rookie of the Year 3 seasons ago. Hasn't exactly followed up on that early promise. Not really tearing it up now, but his process is state of the art. India's overall hitting is just below league average, but he is #1 in our favorite process stat, O swing percentage. How often do you chase a pitch, that's the O, outside the strike zone? And he's 5th in that. #1 in O swing, 5th in walk percentage, right between Bryce Harper and Juan Soto in walks. That's an elite area. Let's stay with the underlying metrics. How about basic contact percentage? This is what I was trying to argue with Al. See, I'm still getting back at him. Alec Boehm's ascendance has been a big reason why the Phillies have become a top club in the National League. Hitting nearly 300, good on base, slugging over .480. Beneath that increase in production, though, is his contact rate. Here are his numbers for the last 4 years. He has brought the contact rate up each and every season from 2021. 76, 81, 84, 87%. That mark right there, that is tied for 8th in baseball. Most of the top 10 in contact, they're not power hitters. Boehm is top 10 in contact, and with this, he's slugging over .470. I'm going to contact rate a lot. Kind of opposite of what I did value 25 years ago. Why? Because it's now the rare skill. You want lineup diversity. Not all power, also not all singles hitters. But the league is now filled, as we're just talking about, with high-risk, high-reward sluggers. On the Phillies, Boehm and Bryson Stott are offsetting the big swing-and-miss hitters in that lineup. In a swing-and-miss world, contact is scarcity. Scarcity makes something valuable. I'm going to say that again. When something is scarce, it makes it more valuable. Along those lines, the Yankees have learned that lesson. A lineup filled with sluggers, but now Alex Verdugo is everything advertised and more. 4th in baseball in contact rate, and in the field, he is 4th in defensive runs saved. Also #1 among all outfielders. That, in addition to him being left-handed, makes him extremely valuable to the Yankees, who were right-handed, free-swinging, and immobile in the field. All right, one more, finally. Being a breakout player doesn't mean that you're coming off an off season. Bobby Witt played like a star last year, but last year he was also, get this, 58th in baseball in weighted runs created plus. You know what he is this year? 15th. That's a difference, but he is likely to get better. StatCast is powered by Google Cloud. Witt's StatCast numbers are even more impressive. Here's his ex-WOBA for the 3 years he's been in the league. Now he's coming from 313 to 369 last year to a whopping 430 this year. That is 5th in all of baseball. That's his expected WOBA. And he also has a 45-point differential between his actual WOBA, weighted on base, and his expected weighted on base. So his results are possibly going to get better. He was very good last year, but now, look where he is. He's a superstar, and there's a difference. Let's go to the guys, bring it into them, back to Ronnie, and back to Al. I always look for guys that surprise me. You know, back in the old days when you were a kid on Long Island, BK, looking at Newsday and looking at the charts, which I was doing, I would look for it and say, oh, you know, runs scored, RBIs, this sort. Looking at guys like, I didn't expect Alec Boehm to be in the top 10 there. I didn't expect Verdugo to be top 5 in several categories. Those things stand out to me.
You know, when I was a kid, growing up in Massachusetts, used to get the Boston Globe on Sunday, and they would have that long list of all the guys and who was hitting the highest. And And you would see after April or May names that you might not recognize, and then by the end of the year they had kind of filtered out and all the great players were back at the top again. I think when you're looking at the weighted on base, the pictures you showed are the guys having the greatest years this year.
Right.
It kind of makes sense. And then talking about Bohm, been able to watch him from the beginning. I think he was one of the few great, on his way to being a great hitter, who had trouble defensively. And I think that defense issue kind of held him back a little bit offensively. Worried about, is he going to make the play? Where is he going to play? Is he going to be a first baseman when Hoskins leaves? Is he a third baseman? Can he make the plays there? And I think once he got comfortable at third base, he's become a fine defensive player over there at third. That's when the offense really started to click. And he is dangerous. One thing he always did from the beginning with Bohm, he could hit the ball the other way. He had power the other way. So from coast to coast, he was always a threat. And now, once he learns to pull every once in a while in his count, doubly dangerous.
Now, it's it's taken him a little while, right? But it's like 3 or 4 years. It took Jurickson Profar 11 years.
Yeah.
Now, Profar was a nice little player. He made our All-MLB Now team because he had the plate discipline, O-swing, contact. He was good at, in other words, he had good at bats, Al, and he was a good fielder. But now he's one of the top 10 hitters in baseball. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the mark at the end of the year, but he has not fallen off as of yet. Like, is there a lesson to be learned? The Padres signed him 1 year, $1 million. He basically couldn't get a job. Yeah. Now that they signed him up, he's like one of the best hitters in the game.
So we have to dig into what these guys are doing. I think Profar is a perfect example of that when he came up with the Rangers and then moved around, is that during the course of a career, and I'm a good example of that. Ronnie, you got up, and I got up with the Yankees at 21 years old. I didn't figure it out till I was about 27, 28 years old. Now, there were some injuries in there. So, like, we look at snippets of guys back of their baseball cards. By the way, I didn't have Newsday. I did the Sporting News.
That's sophisticated.
On the weekend.
Next level. Good
to
job.
see all the numbers and just marvel at that. But the journey isn't a straight line.
Right.
Not everybody gets to be, Derek Jeter. So through that, dig into what is Jurickson Profar. Did he change his approach? I love that you're now more excited or interested
about contact.
Contact.
It's rare.
Which I get offended by that. And that was kind of my point with every rule change since 1973 to hurt a pitcher, is that I do think, and maybe it's my... Yes, it is.
Every rule has been done to hurt a pitcher?
Pretty much.
Pitching and strikeouts taken over the game.
Yeah, because we're talking about hitting approach. And the very thing that
starting to fight again. Ronnie, rule on this guy.
You guys need to save this for the next showdown. You do.
Hey,
we
marvel at the guy that can hit it out of yellow.
Do I let this go?
Yes, you do. I'm glad that you like Luis Ariz. I do too. I like the guys that put the ball in play. You throw a ball down and away, and if it's 84 miles an hour off the barrel, so what? He doinked one over the first baseman's head, and you got 2 RBI. You teach kids to just swing hard, count leverage doesn't matter, and they're trying to hit it as hard as they can. Strikeouts will go up. And it's not about velocity, because pitchers are throwing harder and they throw less fastballs.
Yeah, but the velo sets it up, right? Your fastball sets things up.
We threw about 60+% fastballs. They're under 40. It's 42%.
Yeah, no, but the fastball sets it up, right?
You want to do away with sweeper now?
I didn't know. You said that. That's what Jason Starks. By the way, I'm told there is
Mark Eichhorn is somewhere going, what?
I'm told by a lot of, analysts, there's no such thing as a sweeper. How can you ban what doesn't exist?
It doesn't.
When we come back, showdown time. Al Leiter and I have gotten so feisty, our producers have requested a referee in case things get rough. But we do bring in a man of the highest integrity, Ron Darling, who looks much too at home with the gavel.
Well, I'm calling you guys to order.
Nice.
Last week, we had Jason Stark. He and Kenny Rosenthal in The Athletic had a article on how to save the starting pitcher. Should the starting pitcher be saved?
Yeah, do we need to save? I know there's a big thing. Do we need to save the starting pitcher? And look, I think the double hook could work if you want to go that route. I maintain, though, look, the starting pitcher comes from the 19th century. We're playing 1800s baseball when you had one guy out there just throwing it to the batter and you wanted to get the ball in play and the pitcher wasn't trying to get anybody out. We could leave the 1800s behind. Why don't we just play tournament baseball, embrace that more pitchers are actually more effective to winning, and let everybody pitch? You don't need starters. You don't need relievers. You just need pitchers. It wouldn't change my love of baseball in any way, shape, or form.
I don't believe you. All right, so here, let's go back to your days of growing up in Long Island.
Okay.
All right, your team was what?
I was a Yankee fan.
Okay, so was there a starting pitcher that you would look to see when he was pitching?
When Mel Stottlemyre and the rest were terrible. I would have liked more Sparky Lyle out there than anybody else.
So you basically want to do away with greatness.
No, I don't need to have one starter. Wouldn't you watch, if you were watching a baseball tournament, you've watched a million, your son just came up to the majors, you probably were at a million tournaments. Did it matter if you had one guy go 6? You're just watching the game, the ball in play, and it's fun, and the duel between the pitcher and the batter. It could be multiple batters.
Because they're not the same. BK, they're not the same. All right, let's go with Ronnie. I know he's our judge right now. When Doc Gooden came onto the scene, it was beyond electric. You talk about selling tickets and T-shirts.
I'm not taking Dwight Gooden out of the game. He can still pitch his 6 innings, but he can pitch them at any point in the game. And maybe you can use Dwight Gooden 3 times a week instead of once a week for 6 innings. You can use him 3 times a week for 2 innings. I'm talking to Ronnie now. Ronnie, you can use Dwight Gooden anytime you want for several days.
You're out of order, Brian. Let him finish.
Okay, so then let's extend to, say, Tom Seaver, or Steve Carlton, or Jerry Kuzma.
I can see Tom Seaver 3 times a week. I can see Tom Seaver.
So you want Tom Seaver. So we look in the box score, say, oh, Tom's pitching tonight, high fastball, great slider, competitor, amazing stuff. He's going to go 2 innings because you want him to pitch Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday.
I'm just going to follow your logic. Yes. I would then, instead of saying, boy, Tom Seaver isn't pitching on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, instead, anytime I go to Shea Stadium, theoretically, I could see Tom Seaver come in and pitch 2-3 innings. Or maybe he closes the game. Maybe he opens the game.
Do you value the win next to a starter?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not even the tiniest, slightest bit. It's an anachronism from the 19th century.
So do you enjoy watching a Major League game with 8, 10, 12, 14 pitching changes with both sides?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah. The pitching changes? No. But the new pitchers coming in each inning? It's like an all-star game. Yeah, I enjoy that.
Do you love the nuance and craft of the beauty of pitching, the artistry of pitching?
Yes. Pitching isn't going away. There's just going to be 4 guys doing it instead of 1.
No, but wait.
We're already doing 4 guys instead of 1.
Well, because of your brethren, you don't want a third time around. You don't like the idea.
I want to win.
I don't know if Ronnie was with Storm Davis. That was the first guy, the 5 and fly back in the day. He had 170 innings, won 19 games with Oakland, and everyone's like, oh my God, he doesn't go deep into the game. If you're trying to eliminate greatness, listen, when you are because when you're in the minor leagues,
you out of order on that.
You determine your better pitchers, and the better pitchers start a game because you're going to need length. You're going to need close to 1,000 innings. You're going to need 1,000 innings for 5 guys.
No, maybe you don't.
Maybe you can.
No, there's more. If you have 13 pitchers on a staff now, you need about, 100, 120 innings a pop. That's all you need. I could watch a tournament baseball game with several pitchers being in that game and enjoy it just as much.
So there would never be Fernando Mania.
No,
there'd never be Doc Gooden going crazy. There'd never be Steve Carlton.
They're just not starting. They're
because
pitching.
They're going 3 innings. It's 3 innings. I'm biting my nails. The guy punches out 9, and they take him out of the game. I'm like, what are we doing? And here comes the reliever who's cranky arm, or 3 more of them, and we lose the game. It's Steve Carlton.
Then don't use a cranky arm. Maybe you have you work and invest in getting 11 good pitchers instead of like 1 and then a bunch of guys with creaky arms.
You know how many pitchers have been the start of the season? It just continues to go up on the IL at the start of the season this year.
So what does that have to do with what we're talking about? Because guys are going to get hurt no matter what they're doing. As long as they're pitching, they're going to get hurt.
Nah.
You want to weigh in?
Okay, I think I've heard enough.
All right.
The problem is I think I have to recuse myself.
You are biased.
I used to be
You're a biased judge.
I do have integrity, but I am biased. But I'm going to rule in favor of Brian. Why? Because it's his show. Al, you made a good argument. Here's another thing to tackle for you, too.
Yeah.
Should the mound be moved back?
Yes.
Help.
6 inches.
Why?
Al, it's this far away from here. All right, here we go. You like my stand?
But then why do you want to do that? To hurt the pitcher
now,
again?
You know where I have to go? Here. That's all it is. Because strikeouts are now hurting the game. Now that we've fixed.
How about have a hitting approach like we just talked about the Guardians? A hitting approach with
good luck with that. How is that working?
What do you mean good luck? Because we have your community saying hit the ball hard. We have minor league hitters that get rewarded for hitting the ball hard.
Because that's what moves the needle. That's what gets you promoted. That's what you.
But then why are they trying to encourage stolen bases? We want to show athleticism. We want to do away with the shift so we can see a guy make a great throw or a great play. We want guys to run now. We just did in the A block.
I can answer your question. I can answer your question because that leads to exciting baseball. You know what else is exciting baseball? The ball in play.
How about it?
I want to I want to reduce strikeouts. We want the same thing. Exciting baseball. You want the ball in play, right?
Yeah.
Isn't the ball in play more exciting? The way to do that is move 6 inches back, reduce the velo one tick, and get the ball in play more.
You're going to have more hurt arms. If that's what you're all
6
about,
inches,
you just
that's not what doctors have found. Dr. Glenn Fleissig has been on the show. He has said 6 inches back.
Glenn Fleissig, I like Glenn a lot, and I respect him a lot. ASMI, he never threw a baseball. Get out of here, you back.
Wow, the doctor, whoa, overruled.
No.
Come on, I object to that.
I pitched with Tommy John, and back in the day,
he's out of order.
Tommy John would cover the pitcher's rubber, and he didn't throw very hard. When he started, he would step in front of the rubber a little bit because he wanted 3 or 4 inches.
Sure.
The difference between here and here is the difference between a home run or a fly ball.
And the difference between a strikeout rate where the ball's not in play and then suddenly the ball's in play like it was in the 40s or 50s.
Pull up the hitting approach because I'd like for our judge to see
this.
this.
There's no Sam here.
I thought you guys were doing a showdown.
Here we go.
Who's he the man in the behind the curtain?
I said here, with 2-strike approach, what are hitters doing in Major League Baseball? This is from 15 to this year. Almost double the amount of hitters with 2 strikes still pulling the ball. So
what's your point?
My point is that
they're still trying to yank for home runs because home runs win. So I'm saying you're fighting the tide.
Okay, so
players will do this because that's what gets them paid and gets them promoted.
We talked about all these guys are throwing harder.
There's no other way to reduce velo. You can't stop these guys.
We have now more pitchers that throw 95 to 100 are throwing less fastballs. So if it's fastballs that gets hitters out, why are they throwing less fastballs than when Ronnie and I pitched?
I have a ruling.
Yeah.
All right. The hubris of Al to use your people against you, I think is awesome. So Al wins this, and you can't argue about moving back when you never threw it 60 feet 6 inches.
Wow, that's wrong. You're violating
1-1.
Right, it's a classic case with these guys. I'm surrounded by these guys. You were reasonably fair.
Okay,
you gave me that first one and the second one. All right, good job, Al. That was fun. Good job. Good, clean fun. We
didn't even get a chance to see Ronnie and I how many innings per start. It was exciting stuff.
No one cares. When we come back, interesting baseball.
You're wrong.
Going back, get some footage.
いかがでしたか？選手が怪我なく、魅力的な試合がずっと見れるといいですね。このチャンネルは日本人メジャー選手に対する海外のインタビューなどの翻訳動画をご紹介いたします。ぜひ、チャンネル登録高評価よろしくお願いいたします。